What does your hat say?
Rolling. Oh, this is Fun Hog.
Fun
It's
hog.
probably backwards for you. I don't know.
No, it's right. What is fun hog?
Uh, it was like a Whistler based brand. I think they're still around. It was just this guy who came up with these stickers that um, he just was distributing to his friends because it was like their fun thing. They were like hogging all the fun or whatever in Whistler, and so he just came up with Fun Hog, and then yeah, he made some T-shirts and hats and stuff. And he came over to our place one time. He was a buddy of my roommate at the time, and I was like, "Fun Hog, that's awesome!" I'd seen his stickers around, and so I grabbed a hat and a shirt from him right away.
That's
It's
cool.
great. I love that like grassroots
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of just funny stuff, like just having fun, not really taking it all serious, which is really where I kind of started with my business. That's why my logo is a little smiley face, because with a smirk, I'm like, that pretty much fits how I feel about work.
Do you know what's funny is I saw that on your knives like when I first started following you, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And then I realized you put that on every single knife. I'm like, oh, that's his logo. Like that's what he puts on. That's his your trademark or whatever, so that everybody knows whose knife it is.
Yeah, totally. When I originally, like my second or third knife or whatever, I was sending it to a buddy. And so the night before I was sending it out, I was like, crap, I need something that's going to be, this was the first one I was sending away. And I didn't want any of them to go without having, some sort of something that ties them all together. And so
Yeah.
it's like, I need like a maker's mark. And all I had to do it with was like electrical tape as like a stencil, and then just like this little leather tool for cutting out shapes. So it had to be like super basic, right? And so I started just like carving away at it, and then made a smiley face, and it had that sort of little smirk on the side of it. And I
Yeah.
was like, that there it is. That's it. So that's it, just stuck 12 years later.
That's crazy. You've been doing this for 12 years?
Yeah, 2013 was when I made my first knife. It was like late in
Yeah.
2013, like October or something, but coming up
Dude.
on 12 years. Yeah.
I didn't realize. I don't know if we even talked about that last time on the podcast, but I didn't realize you've been doing it for 12 years. That's impressive, man, that you've been going along that long and being so successful. Like, that's
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, it was part time, like evenings and weekends for the first four,
Yeah.
just playing around. But yeah, it's been full time since then. So
Dang, that's wild. That is wild. How is business? Things going well?
yeah, it's been weird the last couple of years. I think there's been a bit of a hangover from pandemic stuff, and it's not just me, and it's not just knife makers that I've spoken to who are feeling the same thing, but it's kind of like across the industry and probably even outside of. I was even just talking with, Cliff Gray. He's like
I think sounds familiar.
hunter guide. Pursuit with Cliff is his. He's got like a podcast and a bunch of YouTube stuff.
Crap.
He's pretty awesome. He does a lot of guiding down wherever all your big elk live. We were just chatting this morning about it, and he's saying the same thing. Like it's everyone he talks to. He just talked to Kafaru. Even those guys are feeling the pinch right now. And so yeah, I think it's just kind of a industry wide thing. Everyone's just a little bit nervous about the economy and stuff.
Well, I feel like
premium knives are one of the first things to get chopped off somebody's budget, I think.
Yeah, well, that's it. I feel like all the industries are getting saturated too. Like thinking about like Faru and like the hunting clothing brands and stuff like that. There's so many brands out there making, say you make a camo. How many camo companies are there now? Like it's wild how many are out there. Knives, there's a lot of knife podcasts. There's about a 4 billion hunting podcasts out there now. So it's a little saturated.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Definitely. I mean, the industry, like I think hunters, our numbers are probably growing because of like all these podcasts and all that awareness that's getting out and everything, and maybe a little bit because of the price of meat these days. But I think that the numbers are at least growing a little bit too, but definitely like say not as much as the suppliers are.
Well, I believe, dude, if you put out a good quality product, regardless of how many competitors are out there, I put this to my day job. So I run a hospice company as my day job, and there's new hospice companies popping up like all the time. But I always tell people like, hey, if we do a good quality job, we put a quality product out there, it doesn't matter how many other companies there are because people are still going to use quality stuff, you know? So I'd say that with anything like podcasts, as long as I'm putting out quality podcasts, people are still going to come and listen to it, whether it's for enjoyment or learning or whatever. And I think the same thing with knives, you know, like if you're, in which you are, you know, we put out a good quality knife, people still want quality, you know, and I feel like people have more money to buy quality nowadays too.
I think you're right, and I think that the swing kind of back away from the the throwaway sort of mentality that we were sold for a while. Like back when we were kids, it was the Gillette razor was just use it once and throw it away
Yeah.
kind of thing. I think that's sort of we're swinging back towards an appreciation for quality.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's lots of startups and all these companies in every industry, but yeah, as long as you're really focusing on doing it for the right reasons, and you're not just going to be a flash in the pan. Like there's been so many knife makers I've watched come and go,
Yeah.
in those 12 years, especially once that TV show kicked off, and then there was just an explosion of it, and then it tapered off again pretty quick. So yeah, as long as you're just doing it for the right reasons, then yeah, if you build it, they will come, I guess.
Dude, I 100% believe that. And like, yeah, what you're doing, dude. I love what you're doing, man. You made, I made a comment on one of your posts the other day, dude. That knife was freaking awesome. You're making some good knives,
thanks,
dude.
Man. Yeah, I've basically been just like looking at all this material that I've been hanging on to forever, and something just snapped in me like a month ago, and I was like, you know what, screw it, let's just spend some of this stuff and make some cool knives and get them out there. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun watching those ones come together lately.
Yeah, I didn't know about your subscribe or your newsletter. I didn't even know you had a newsletter, dude. We didn't even talk about that last time.
Oh yeah, I forget about it sometimes, which is like, which is probably why people don't unsubscribe from it too much, because it's definitely not like a weekly
right
or like an every other day kind of a thing. It's like maybe once a month I'll remember to send one out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always just like, if I only ever send it out if there's something worth sending, right? So even just right now, like you probably, I don't know if you got that one or if you signed up. Anyways, I just sent one out right before this. That's why I was late. Making up this newsletter and trying to get it out with these new knives I literally just finished like a half hour ago.
Dude, I didn't. I wasn't subscribed because I think you made a post on Instagram or something about it recently, like, or Facebook. I can't remember. I saw it somewhere.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I
mentioned about it.
I need to get that. Oh, there it is. Subscribe to the newsletter. All right, I'm subscribing to it right now.
Sweet. I think there might still be like a welcome email that goes out. I haven't looked at it in years. It's still relevant.
I'll tell you here in just a minute. I'm gonna do my personal email on here so I get it quickly here.
Boy,
but
I'm selling that.
All right, yeah. There's money in that. All right, yeah. Your subscription has been confirmed. I just went to your website.
Nice.
What do you call this newsletter? I think you had a name for it.
All killer, no filler.
That's right. All killer, no filler. That's right. That's freaking awesome.
So many subscriptions I've unsubscribed to, which is like one of the most satisfying parts of my day is just unsubscribing to junk mail. But
me too.
So many of them are just like you can tell they have like a notification comes up that's like, ding, time to send a newsletter, right? And then they're like, oh, okay, whatever they can stuff in there, they send out, whether it's whether anyone wants to see it or not. So I've been trying real hard to get people to understand that, like, no, it's not just going to be I have to get one out every week or whatever. Right. It's literally I forget that it exists, and then I remember I should probably send out. But the thing about email newsletters, it's the only way to communicate with customers that I have that I actually have control over. Because you're not going through an Instagram or Facebook or whatever, or YouTube or anything. Like, they can all censor whatever they want, but that email is the only one that actually goes directly to people, like all those models you used to do. If you subscribe to someone or you follow someone, that means you want to see more stuff. You don't want
not anymore.
Why does some kid get to say no, you don't get to see his stuff anymore, right?
Yeah.
So this is the only way I can still get a hold of people.
I used to be the same way. With Ehuntr, I used to send out a newsletter at least monthly, and I was pretty consistent. And it would have like some of the stuff like as far as like some of the podcasts that I put out that month, or some of our articles that we used, some of the deals that we had with some of our partners and whatnot. It would be in there, but I kind of got to the feeling like I'm just doing it just to do it, and I feel like people would get it and then just they wouldn't click on any of the links or anything like that. So I went away from it, and I was like, I'm just gonna, if it's something cool or something I need to get out in a newsletter, that I'm gonna use it for that, be more purposeful with it, and like the interaction that I have with them is so much higher now. So if I send out a newsletter, yeah, like tons of people will click on the links and look at it and whatnot. Whereas before it was just, I think people just deleted it because it was just irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really powerful being able to get that analytic of
Mm-hmm.
like how many people are actually opening it and then who's actually clicking on stuff. And then you go and see your website and see who's actually following through on that stuff. But it's
Yeah.
the same as we were just talking about. Like if you put a quality email,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, people are actually gonna get a look at, instead of just like delete, delete, delete with all the other ones.
Yeah. I think that's what people look for nowadays. I think we look for that kind of that human interaction, like I don't know. In fact, I was just looking at my emails to see if I got one from you, a welcome email, but I got one from like Ariat and Kuyu, but it's just like, it's just so consistent. Like they're all the time. So I just delete them. I don't even look at them, I just delete them, and cause I get them so often. So I think we're looking for that interaction. Like, oh, hey, like I haven't gotten an email from Kuyu in forever. And like, what do they got? What's new going on, rather than it's just spam in my folder every, day or whatever, however often they send out emails. It's kind of gotten ridiculous lately.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's so easy to just unsubscribe, especially now. You get the
Yeah.
little on your phone, you get that button unsubscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yes, thank you.
I'm
It's too easy, right?
I'm
So
with you. It's
we're
just like,
up against we're up against convenience. You
yeah.
know what I mean? So that's what we're battling against. So you got to be more interesting than just clicking that unsubscribe button.
Yeah.
It's easy.
I'm with you. That's like one of the funnest parts of my day, is going through my email and just like unsubscribing. Like my wife, dude, I'm not kidding you. She probably has like 10,000 unopened emails right now. Like the little, red dot on her thing says like 10,000, or I don't know, it's maybe not that high, but I'm like, unsubscribe from those things. Like it's almost enjoyable to go through and just unsubscribe and like clean that crap up. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it must be like a part of an OCD or an
Mm-hmm.
ADHD thing, but I can't have little notifications sitting there. I use that if it's something I got to get to later,
Yeah.
then I'll leave it like unread so that it bugs me. Every time
Mm-hmm.
I look at my phone, it's got that little red circle and it reminds me I got to get back to that. And it bugs me. So I do get back to it because yeah, if there's one text message sitting there,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta reply to it because it's like an unfinished thing. Kills
Dude,
me.
I read a study about the psychology that I don't know if it was, I think it was Apple, that Apple had done on the stupid little note. Do you have an Apple, or are you Apple or Android guy?
Yeah, iPhone, yeah.
So yeah, it was Apple that did it, and like the psychology behind that little, it's because it's a red dot, with the number in it. The psychology with that red dot is like, they've done so much studies on it that bothers more people than any other notification can. Like you can get little banners on your screen, you can get all this other stuff, but it's that little red dot with a number in it that bothers more people, that's going to draw more people to interact with that app more than anything else. And like they've done studies since then, since they've added that into the iPhone, and like the interactions with how many people have those notifications, it's crazy. It skyrockets. So there's something in the human brain that just forces us to go to that red color, click on it, and we've got to clear it. It's just we've got to clear that number off there. So they're not dumb in what they do.
I love that stuff, man. Like I love it when big companies put that kind of
Yeah.
research into the psychology of people, and I find that stuff so interesting, and marketing is massive with that. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
really cool to watch what some of these big brands are doing with their marketing and just how they're like hijacking our human rewards
Yeah.
systems and stuff, and I find that stuff fascinating. I think it's really cool.
I just wish I was smarter. I wish I could tap into it a little bit more and make more people come to my stuff than anybody else. Cause I haven't figured out how to get that far yet. So I need to be smarter is what I need to be.
Yeah, trying to figure out how to apply that to your own thing. That's tricky. That takes a lot of thinking
It
sometimes.
does. It does. You got to be a smarter person than me.
Yeah, both, buddy.
Whatever, dude. You're smart. You're doing all this crazy stuff with knives and stuff that I have no idea how to do. So you're a lot further
Oh,
ahead than I am.
that's just being that's just being, I guess, sick of working for somebody else. I don't know. Something
Yeah.
like that, figuring out something I can do to get away with it.
Me and my buddy were just talking about that. Like, a lot of people stay in their job for the security, you know, like working for a corporation, because you have that security of, oh, the check's always gonna be there. And like, but do you really have security working for a company? Because at any moment, you know, I work for a huge corporation. It's the fourth largest hospice company in the country, in the United States. But they could walk, you know, they could call me right now and be like, Taryn, we're done with your job. You know, you're fired. Pack your things, kind of a thing. Like that, so that security really isn't there. And then I have to spend my life working for somebody else. Like I'm always making somebody else more money than I'm making myself. And the harder I work doesn't make me any more money. My salary doesn't change, you know, but the harder I work makes that person more money. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Like working for yourself is definitely the better way to go. I wish I would have done it a long time ago.
It's a different kind of risky for sure.
Yeah.
It's but that was one thing that I really loved about it. Like you say, the more, like the harder you work, it actually pays off. Like you see it right away. If you put in more hours, you make more of whatever you're doing, then yeah, it's going to pay off immediately, that's attractive. Making your own hours, like all the freedom of that sort of stuff was awesome. And just, yeah, not having a boss,
Yeah.
sort of. I mean, I have hundreds of bosses,
Right.
You know, if you think about your customers being your boss, right? They're really the ones who are telling you what you need to do and what they don't want you doing. So you can look at it that way, but
Yeah.
and I've always liked that saying, I got sick of the 9 to 5, so now I work 24/7. I wouldn't trade it for sure.
Right. That's a good point though, man. It is 24/7. My wife was talking about that the other day about Ehuntr. She's like, how much time do you think you've put into Ehuntr? I'm like, man, I've put a lot of time, and it's not just 9 to 5, you know, obviously I've got my 9 to 5 job, but like pretty much like nights and weekends and even during the day is sometimes I've got to do Ehuntr. And so you think about the time that I put into it, it's a significant amount of time. But going back to what I was saying before though, like the more time I put into it though, the more it pays me back, you know, like the more I get more involved with people and literally pays me back more the more I get involved. So I like that part of it.
Yeah, it's better if you don't think about that those kinds of things, much time you're putting into it. Because I mean, then you're kind of just comparing it to a job. Then you're trying to put a dollar figure on what you're making per hour or whatever. Like you're kind of going down that same route of, and I think it's better maybe to kind of consider it something different and not put it in that box, make it its own thing, and look at it for, like, instead of how much time am I putting into it, it's more like what am I getting out of it, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and not monetarily either. Like you think of the stuff that you get out of like your job. I mean, your shop's in your backyard, you know, and so you don't have to travel an hour to work and an hour home every day. And, you know, the conveniences of like, well, hey, if I need to go to a kid's event or something like that, well, I can go to that kid's event. It's not like I have to punch a time clock to go to it. You know, I can just go and do as I need to. So I think there's a lot of stuff that comes that it's not monetary that is a huge benefit of running your own business as well.
100%. Yeah, there's all that freedom. Is great if you want to, you know, you don't have to ask for time off to go on vacations and stuff like that. And as long as as long as you schedule it properly and you make sure that you got all your bases are covered. But yeah, and even just because you'll probably, if you're starting your own business, you're probably really, invested in it. Just your interest, like it's something that you want to do.
Yeah.
You're not going to start a business doing something you hate.
Right.
And so just getting that satisfaction out of doing something every day that you are actually interested in. You didn't just work in a grocery store and slowly work your way up, and now all of a sudden you're a department manager and you can't quit now. You put in all these years and before you know it, you turn around one day and you're 50 and you're looking at like a pretty minimal retirement or whatever. It's not that kind of a thing. It's you're actually, I think there's quite a bit of value to really enjoying your work. I guess it's weird that's not, I guess, not controversial, but not the norm anymore. Right. You know what I mean?
It's interesting that it's that way though, because it used to not be that way. Like I was thinking about it, the way that the United States is set up from our taxes and stuff like that. Like it's set up to be for everybody to be a business owner. If you're not a business owner in the United States, I don't know how it is in Canada, but you're really not taking advantage of the system that's set up. If you're just an employee, yeah, you're kind of actually getting screwed over because taxes are just taking everything from you because that's just not the way that it was set up. If you go back to when the country was established, everybody was a business owner. They were either a printer or a farmer or a rancher. It was all their own business. So it really made sense. And it was set up for them to be successful that way. But yeah, if you're just an employee, you're getting screwed over big time.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about it that way. Like back when, like you say, when the country was established, everybody was their own boss. So, yeah, that's a very interesting way to think about it because it's completely flipped around now.
Yeah.
Up here, it's a little. I don't. We're definitely not set up for success for small businesses, especially with the last couple of governments that we've had. It seems like we're almost more punished. They're looking for a lot more control over you, and if you're independently employed, then they can't really control you as much. And so yeah, we get taxed a ton, and yeah, we don't get a whole lot for it.
That's what I was.
But it's yeah.
I was talking to those guys in Saskatchewan about that, trying to understand you guys' government a little bit better and how it works. They kind of said the same thing. The last two have been a little bit rough, maybe coming out of it a little bit, but yeah, talking about like how badly you're taxed and I don't know, just the way that the government's run. It's very different than the U.S., but it's hard to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, it's the type of things that you don't really see in headlines and stuff. So when we think about governments and we think just like the big stuff, like who's sending who to war and who's whatever putting sanctions on who these days, it's not those kinds of things that make the biggest difference that you or I wouldn't know about each other's government all that much as far as running a small business and stuff. So it's you don't know about it until you get into it. I didn't until I started a business up here. There's lots of it that you don't ever get taught, and, until you do it. So it's I mean, at the same time, you kind of do whatever you can to get by, and I would rather do this for sure than go and work for somebody else again. So I'm gonna keep doing my best. Keep it up.
You're doing well. I do wish they would teach us that in school. Like I was thinking about like that, if they would teach us that kind of stuff, like why don't we get taught how to do taxes in school instead of learning the Pythagorean theorem and whatever calculus formulas are out there? I've never used that crap, but man, I'd sure like to know how to do taxes.
Yeah, no doubt. We can go deep down the rabbit hole on that sort of stuff too.
Yeah, we're kind of sorry. We're starting off this podcast in so many different ways. But dude, I did.
Like you say, it's fun. It's free. We're doing whatever.
That's it. That's what I love about these podcasts, though. What's funny is like most of my podcasts that are like this, where we're just chatting, talking about stuff. Because, well, even like this, like Canadian government, I did not know much about Canadian government until I went on this bear hunt, and so being able to sit with those guys and just talk about like what you guys like, what your government looks like, and also kind of getting their opinions. Whether it's more on the conservative side or more on the liberal side. It just their approach and view of it was honestly very, very interesting. I learned so much. So I know the title of this podcast is going to be bear hunting, but I learned a lot about just Canada in my bear hunt, which was really cool. I mean, it's an interesting country.
That's awesome. And it's unless you go digging, even living here, there's lots about the government that we don't ever really know about, or you wouldn't, like I say, I wouldn't have known anything about starting a small business until you go and do one. And so there's lots of stuff about, you wouldn't know much about how the government treats nurses unless you were a nurse or knew one. So
right.
It's really, I mean, unless you go looking for it, they're not out there giving up all this information. So depending on who you talk to, either they're going to be on one side or the other, or they could just be completely ignorant, which I think, unfortunately, a lot of our country is. But no, it's sweet that you were kind of digging in with them and they were able to give you some insight and stuff. Cause yeah, it's it's very different, I'm sure,
Yeah.
from where you are. But
And
yeah, man, how was your bear hunt? How
dude,
actually, I just listened to the podcast you guys did on the way back, which was a great time, by the way, to do a podcast like when it's fresh in your
yeah.
mind. That's a great time to do it. And of course, you had like, I don't know, a 20-hour drive, so you had plenty of time to get it out.
Yeah, we killed a whole hour and a half on that podcast. I was like, man, this should have been like a 10-hour podcast, dude. That was such a long drive. Oh my gosh, that was such a long drive, but it was beautiful, man. I enjoyed being up there. It was my first ever time going to Canada, so it was so fun to go up there. And I appreciate that comment on the podcast. I'm glad it was a good one. I was honestly nervous about that podcast because the truth be told, the reason I wanted to do that was for my own selfish reasons. Like, what a journal entry, like to have that podcast and talk about how the whole thing went down. Like that is so cool. That's why I want to dig into your bear hunt as well, because I'd love to just more than anything journal it and your experiences and what it was like, something that you can go back to and listen to. But yeah, it was such a fun trip. Learned a lot. Like I said, learned a lot about Canada. We talk very different. I don't know if you've noticed that when you and I talk, but you and I talk well, maybe not you. You don't speak quite like they do. But man, what were some of the words that they used that I was like, I had no idea what they were talking about. Well, one of them I know was portage. You know what a portage is?
Right. I had no idea that you guys didn't pronounce it portage. Like that's how we just have always grown up. I guess maybe it's because it's like a French word, so we throw the sort of French
is it
pronunciation on it.
I didn't know it was a French word.
That age, that's a dead giveaway for a French terminology.
Oh, that makes so much more sense. Well, because that's what they said.
Yeah, that was the original guys like rolling across Canada and exploring and stuff, and they must have been a bunch of French dudes because that one's.
There were so many of them. I wish I could remember all of them, but that was the one that really stuck out. Portage and sportage, like we say sportage and portage, so like it's. I think the sportage and the portage is much more fancier than how we say it, but there were quite a few things that they said very different. And because I made the comment about yours in my podcast, and I was like, man, I talked to Mike, and I don't remember you speaking much different than I did, but man, those guys spoke very different than how I speak. It was interesting.
Yeah, we didn't really talk too much about canoeing in the last one, but I guess it wouldn't have come up. But yeah, there's the slang is fun, and just the pronunciations, and even beyond. I guess like you wouldn't really know how to pronounce stuff unless you actually heard it. Like most of the time, you're just reading these words, and if you read sportage or portage, and then it looks like sportage and portage.
It was just an interesting, and it was so cool. That's one of my favorite things about going to different countries is like listening to how they speak. Like when we went to New Zealand, they use so many. I mean, we're both speaking English, right? But they said words sort of. Yeah, they use so many different words. I'm like, in fact, there was one time that they were speaking to me, and I had no idea what they said. I'm like, I honestly, genuinely don't know what you just said, and so they kind of had to like explain it. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, it makes sense once you say it, but man, it was so crazy.
Dude, I lived in Whistler for a decade, and we get like boatloads of Aussies and Kiwis, and even like depending on where they're from, the English that come over from Great Britain, and like man, there'd be sometimes I did I remember the same thing. There was this girl I was working with, and I made her repeat herself like 3 or 4 times, and I was just looking at her like, what did you just? I'm racking my brain looking for anything in that I recognize. I'm so sorry. And she would have to slow down. And luckily she was a good sport. And but yeah, those Kiwis, man, holy smokes. Like an Australian accent is one thing, but those guys are next level.
They are. Just the way they talk and the words they use, it was nuts. But yeah, dude, I love that about Canada. That was honestly, I know that's a silly thing, but it was one of my favorite things. Just the culture. You wouldn't think it'd be as different up there as it is from the United States, but yeah, there's definitely a different culture, and I enjoyed every minute of it. It made me want to go to more providences. Like I want to go and experience more of of Canada. I got to get up to BC. We keep talking about it. Me and my buddy Chad that went with me, like we're going to come up there with you and go to Alpha Dog with you and do a hunt with them. Cause I mean, it just looks like so much freaking fun.
Oh heck yeah, that'd be great, man. Like I was just thinking that 10-hour drive, I mean, through Saskatchewan, Christ, must have I've driven across it, but oh man.
Oh, it's so once we got to Prince Albert and went north from there, it was okay. But man, south of that, oh, it was such a it's just farmland, you know, there's just nothing out there but farmland. It was miserable. It was terrible.
I felt the same actually driving across. Last year we did a trip down south and we went across Idaho.
Yeah.
And as soon as you come out of that, there's like a line where the trees just stop and then it's just sage forever. And we drove a full tank of gas without stopping or seeing anything.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember Saskatchewan being about the same. Like I've driven across it. I've driven across the country one time and that's enough. But yeah, boy, it's desolate out there.
BC's not that way, right? BC is very mountainous, lots of trees, that kind of like.
A lot of it, yeah. There's like where I live, actually, it's what's called the plateau. There's like an interior plateau. It's technically the top of a really big flat mountain. Like we're up kind of high, but it's a big flat space with some hills and stuff, and it's kind of in the middle of the alpine sort of type mountains where if you don't have to go too far, where you can get up above tree line and you get into those like mountains. But yeah, right in the middle here where I am, it's actually kind of open, and you wouldn't expect it. But then yeah, you start heading. You get even north, like I get lost on like Google Earth and stuff and start looking around at cool landscapes and whatever. But yeah, like the northern half it gets kind of flatter up there too. And it's usually all on fire anyway, but it gets really weird and long and open all up there. But there's some real beautiful spots, definitely. And the mountains change too, big time. Like the coastal mountains are so much different than the interior mountains and the Rockies and everything. Like they're significantly different, even just to look at, which is really cool too.
I was watching your video the other day of your bear hunt, and just kind of looking. I mean, the bear hunt part was cool too, but just kind of looking at the terrain where you guys were hunting and what you were hunting in, and I was like, man, that like it looked kind of like Alaska, like when you're in those thicker areas, and then also kind of like a Montana vibe to it, and I was like, oh man, it's like perfect hunting area. Like it looks like it'd be hard, but it looks like it'd be a lot of fun too.
Oh yeah, it's perfect for everything. You've got moose, both species of deer, elk, caribou, sheep, bunch of sheep, goats, bears, all the stuff is all up and around here, which is because the territories are made, but it's thick. Like it's funny. I'll send like pictures of where I'm hunting to friends of mine, and they're just like, how do you even see down, like what are you even hunting? Which is why like you don't see a lot of those PRCs up here where you got to reach out to 800 yards to hit something. You can see 150, then you're in luck.
What? So I saw that you shot your bear with a boomstick. So what did you end up shooting him with?
I got this 7 Rem mag.
Oh, okay.
I really don't. I hate it. I really don't like the rifle. I got it from a buddy, and the other one that I will take is I got this cool like Marlin 30-30 Libra.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Deer and
yeah,
but yeah, it's that's man. It's a synthetic stock, really lightweight, loophole scope on it, and it just hits back so hard. Like it's not fun at all to shoot. But I mean, it gets the job done real good. So I guess I'll stick with. I got a good deal on it, so I might as well just use it, I guess. I
spent, most of my life shooting a 7 Rem mag. That was my gun from, probably 20 years of my life. So I've killed a lot of animals with that cartridge. It's honestly a hard cartridge to beat, just because of the availability of the ammo. And it's cheaper than a lot of like especially the PRCs. It's so much cheaper than the PRCs. So it's a killing machine. But yeah, dude, let's dig into this bear hunt. Everybody's heard my bear hunt. It was It was great, man. I loved every minute of it. And for those listening, if you guys want to go to the last episode, it's the podcast that I did on that. But yeah, Mike, it was so fun. Like I said, just going to Canada for one was awesome. But then to get my blonde bear, I was so stoked to get to shoot a blonde one. Like that was did you
That's so sick that you got a blonde. That's amazing. That's like there's lots of color phases, but I think the blonde is definitely one of the rarer ones. Like we can't hunt. There's like a blue and like a straight white color phase.
Oh, whoa.
That you're not allowed to. I think they're actually illegal across Canada, maybe at least for in BC for sure. But yeah, there's these two really, really rare color phases that pop up.
I did not know that.
Hunt, but
dude, I did not know that. So if one of them would have walked out, I would have smoked it, not knowing.
It might not be the case across the country because across the provinces is we have different rules.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, but that in BC for sure you're so rare. But yeah, to get a blonde one is you haven't really even. I was trying to find like some photos and stuff of your bear, and there's just like the one pops up in that post you had where like, and then it goes away and you can't go back. And I don't know if you posted it somewhere or not.
I haven't posted a lot of it because the video is so like top notch. Like I've done pretty good videoing in the past with and my buddy Chad as well, but like our video on this hunt was pretty amazing. Like we have cameras like looking back at us when we're shooting. We have the kill, like both kill shots are recorded. Like it's pretty awesome. I need to post more of it. But I'm kind of holding out a little bit until I get the video done because I want people to see that video. It's going to be amazing.
Now I want to see it. Oh man, I can't wait. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've never had video like we've got here. Like I've had a hard time. Well, you can probably understand this. It's really hard to, especially when you're by yourself, to get a kill shot with a bow. You know, like to try and self-film and get the kill shot is like almost impossible. But the way that this whole thing worked out, and Chad was actually with me when I shot mine, so it made it even better. But it was so dang cool. So yeah, I'll get some more pictures, and I can text you some too.
Talk about a journal entry though, like getting the video of that's amazing. Like I've tried, I screwed up so bad. Like I was bow hunting, just chasing deer around, and I couldn't figure out like why I keep getting busted. Like, are these things that switched on?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was reading about like how I was curious because you always hear like deer are partially colorblind or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was kind of curious about that. So I was researching it, and I found out that they can't see stuff like greens and reds and those because they've more cones than not, or something that's way above my pay grade. But then I found, but blue like shines like a neon sign to them. So
really?
Anytime blue is around, and this stupid phone case that I've been filming with is blue.
Oh no.
So every time I pull out my phone, they're just like, what is that?
Pull it up there, they see this block that's just shining at them.
Exactly. Like I might as well have flipped it around or I might as well have even just like put on the flashlight or something.
Yeah.
Like, they just like talk about live and learn.
I did not know that. That's hilarious. But it's tough, dude. It's like I have struggled so hard to get kill shots. Like we got our New Zealand ones, but that was, we were sitting in those blinds and had our guide sitting there with us. That was so different. And so like hunting like mule deer and elk here in Utah or Colorado, it's really tough. If you don't have a cameraman to get that, it's really tough. But yeah, just the way that it worked out, like we were sitting in those tree stands, so I could set up a camera. Like I have my mirrorless camera up here, and I had it set there, like zoomed in on the bait, so like it's up close where you can see it. And then I had my other camera, my GoPro, looking back at me. So then we got like the interactions after, like after I shot my bear, dude. It's almost silly how we acted. We acted like two little boys after I shot my bear because, dude, it was the last second. Like we had maybe an hour and a half left in that hunt. Hadn't seen a bear. Well, I shouldn't say that. We did kick a mom and its cub off of the bait when we walked in that morning. Sat there all day long, 12 hours, didn't see a freaking thing. hour and a half left in the daylight, and there he pops out right there, blonde as could be. And I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. So yeah, emotions all just came out after I shot it, and all on camera. It's pretty freaking awesome.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Yeah, it's funny, like the parallels with my hunt were very similar. Like last light of the last day kind of thing. It was yeah, it was. I'm glad it all finally came together on.
Yeah, so I don't know the story at all. Only thing I know is what you post, the video that you posted on Instagram, and then we chatted a little bit about it. But yeah, and I knew that it was the last day. But dude, tell me about this hunt, like start to end. Like, how did it go?
Oh, it was another amazing experience. Anytime I get to go up and hang out with Mike or Sean at Alpha Dog, is just like you just learn stuff being around those guys. Like they've done this their whole lives, right? So I love that whole part of it. I'm just absorbing so much. Also, I think that Mike secretly trying to groom me to be a guide eventually. So he's like teaching me all kinds of extra stuff all the time. So
you need to become a guide so that you can take me.
Yeah, sure. Let's go. So it was just being up there doing that. It was awesome. Drama with every time I try to go up there, my truck battery dies. I don't know what that's about, but it did again. But anyway,
how far of a drive is it for you to get from your house to where they're at?
Almost 3 hours.
Oh dang! So it's a ways.
Yeah, it's north an hour and a bit, and then directly west an hour, and then north again about 45 minutes. So it's almost 3 hours. So it's up there.
Wow.
But yeah, it's and where they're at is they're a little bit out of the town. It's a little town called Fort St. James, which is on this huge, beautiful lake called Stewart Lake. And so yeah, they're just outside of town. They've got this cool old lodge. It used to be like this old restaurant, and so they're converting that into like their hunting lodge. And they built a couple little cabins for guests, and I think they're going to build a couple of nicer ones and turn those ones into like guide cabins or whatever. It's cool that they're really just growing this place.
Yeah.
And it's cool to kind of be in there like early on, kind of seeing it, it's as it progresses and that sort of thing. And so, yeah, it was, just Mike and I, they were in there was a break in their guides. They had a last group coming, and all the guys had already left. So Sean had gone back home to help out on their farm. They got like, I don't know, 300 head of goat or something that they're raising down there. But so Mike stuck around with me, and we hung out for about a week with this hilarious cook that they've got there, who's from Scotland. He looks like a little gnome. He's hilarious. And so he hung out there while we were there. And so Mike and I just every morning, the cool thing about like bear hunting is there's really no reason being up and out. Like you don't have to be there in the stand at like daybreak,
Yeah.
You can really take it easy. It's casual in the morning.
I learned that the hard way, because we did not do that, man. We were at 7 o'clock in the morning. We were in the stand. Like we were hunting so hard, and we didn't need to do that.
Yeah. Even like, as we discovered this year anyways, like the bears, we would see a few here and there, really sparse, not the numbers that you'd expect to see. And then, yeah, the evening was just like, all of a sudden they all start coming out, and we covered a ton of ground. We spent probably, what we do, 5 or 6 days of just driving these logging roads. So it's different out in BC. You can't bait bears here. So there's no putting a barrel up and sitting there waiting on a barrel. So you can't just train a camera on it and be ready for your kill shot kind of thing.
Right.
And it's a lot harder to get close enough for an archery shot too, because you can't just be 20 yards from this bait. So, it's got to be nice to hunt them that way.
It was very nice to hunt them that way. Yeah, I was watching your video. I'm like, oh man, to try and do that with a bow, that's tough, man. That's so tough.
Yeah, but there's things you can do. Like if you can kind of like you try to pattern them. A lot of the time, they're like a lot of them don't really have like a discernible pattern to them. But if you find out, like they stick to logging roads for the most part, So that's kind of where you're hunting. They like traveling the easy stuff. And in the spring, that's the spots that green up quicker.
True.
So that's where they are. They're eating the clover and the dandelions and the grass and stuff. So you just find these roads, and man, we drove so many roads and just these like picturesque, perfect bear territory, like gorgeous, unlimited food, water right there, like a quiet little side road. No one's going to bother them on. No sign, nothing. Like we found dozens and dozens of spots like that. We're just like racking our brains. And then the only time we end up seeing bears is in the evening on the main road with dusty traffic rolling by all the time. And like, why the hell are these guys like getting scared off of roads all day, or even while they're, but that's where we ended up finding them. And when we finally figured out, I think it was my last day that I was supposed to be there, because I had some other stuff I had to get. I was scheduled to pick up some. We raise pigs here for the summer for meat, and I was supposed to pick some up on the way home. So I'd scheduled with the other farm, like, yeah, I'll be rolling through town in Prince George. I'll come right by on the whatever day it was I was supposed to be coming through. And so I kind of had like a hard out, but we finally found these things, and we're like, crap, like the last, we couldn't get on one the last day. I think that we kept getting winded, and we were in like horrible wind the whole week, which the bears don't like. Then they can't hear and they can't smell, and they don't love that kind of condition. So they stay in and wait until the evening anyways, when the wind kind of dies down. So we finally track these things to this one road, and we were calling it Rainbow Road because it was just color the whole way down, like just browns and cinnamons all the way down this road. It was nuts. So we found the spot, but I was out of time. So I got a hold of the farm. Hey, is there any way I can come a day later? And I got a hold of my wife. I'm like, hey, I got to stick around for an extra day. She's supportive to the point of being encouraging. She was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, bring us home some meat. Like, do whatever you got to do. There's nothing going on here. Like, yeah. So she's the best. So I stuck around for an extra day. So I was actually like last day plus one when I got my bear. It was not only the last day, but I was pushing it. So the pressure was on. Like, not only is this for sure my last day, but now I'm like taking extra time, So, so we were out again, and in 2 days in a row, we saw this one bear that was an absolute monster. The first time we saw him, we stopped and we're looking at this, medium size, the female, white sow.
Sow.
Sow. But we're watching this sow just kind of chilling out. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let's carry on. And so we keep driving around the road, and we come around a corner, and the road curves around the corner and then goes up a small hill. And at the top of this hill, and standing in the middle of the road, this bear, but he's looking right at us. So all we can see is his front legs, his chest, and his head.
Oh man. And
Mike, who's been hunting there his whole life and has seen a lot of bears, stops the truck and goes, I'm gonna swear if that's he goes, what the fuck is that? We're looking at this thing, like he thought it was a person. Like it looked like a human being standing, like a 6 foot tall person standing there in the middle of this road. Like it was huge. And then he turned sideways, and we're just like, what? And it wasn't there's lots of grizzlies up there. We saw some grizzlies, and this wasn't a grizzly. It was just a big black bear. And so we watched him, and he had the sow with him, and he made the sow look like a Jack Russell. And she was bouncing around, being all goofy. Like she was really weird. Like she's doing like come on and chase me. Like, when dogs are like, one dog's trying to play with the other one. And
it's just being annoying.
Doesn't want to.
Yeah.
She's doing that to him. Like she's like going up to him and then jolting her way and looking back to see if he's chased. Like she was being super weird, ditching, like jumping down into the ditch and then popping back out. And it was comical watching this go on. And the whole time he's just like strutting down the road, did not care. But man, he didn't have any brown on him. He was just straight black, even his muzzle, just black. Wow. And he got up close. Like he got close enough that in the binos we were looking at him, and he's just scarred up. He's missing half an ear. Like you could tell that, like he was just, I called him the Sherman because he just looked like an old battle tank. Like, he was a big bear. But Mike and I were talking about it, and I was like, dude, like, do we like we each got tags? I got 2 tags. Like, do we get like? Cause I'm looking for meat, right? Like, he'd be terrible to eat. He would just be so full of worms and stuff, and he'd be no good for that. So really, then it's at that point, it's just kind of like a tree hunt, which I was thinking about it like later that night. Like, I don't know if I really need to do that. Like this dude's had a life. Maybe just leave those genetics out there, right?
Yeah.
And I said, like, man, Mike, like maybe we just get him and get him like full size for the lodge, and put him in the lodge.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'll split the taxidermy with you or whatever, right? Like, it'll be cool. And then he started thinking about that too. And he's like, I can't have that bear in the lodge with hunters coming and looking at that thing and thinking that's what we're going to bring home.
That's true. Hey, but it shows what's possible. It's like, hey, this is what you could get out here. So it could be good. It could be bad.
Yeah. Until every hunter is out there looking at the good sized bears, like the decent size average bears, and going, oh, he's not the same as the one at the lodge.
Yeah, that's true.
And they get a lot of those real fickle kind of guys. So anyways, we ended up we watched him, and he was there again a second day, and it was just cool watching that monster, that dude just walking around. He was an impressive animal.
Wow.
But then we ended up we're coming down to kind of light. We're cruising down Rainbow Road looking at all these bears, and again, our wind is not great. It's coming from behind us. It's not howling, but it's definitely there. And we come across, we actually got stopped by the COs, the conservation officers, and we're chatting with them, and they did the whole thing, went through all our stuff. Everything was fine. We were like over the top legal, everything's good. And then we're chatting with them, and they're like, oh man, you should go down, like carry on down this road for the next 10 minutes, go slow. Cause there's a lot, like they're telling us where the bears are, which was kind of cool. So we end up, and sure enough, we go down and there's this like really nice, like chocolatey sort of, not quite cinnamon, but sort of a red chocolatey kind of bear that we had actually seen a few days before. And again, wrong sort of situation, bad wind and all this stuff. And we're like, well, there's nothing we can do. Like the wind's behind us. We're boned either way. So
yeah,
only thing we can do is we'll drive by them and we'll park down farther because they're heading away from us at this point. So if we drive by them and park down there, then the wind is with us and maybe they'll keep walking. So we do that. We drive past them. He kind of bumped off the road and then came back out, which we figured he was going to do because the COs just went past. And so he didn't want to leave the road.
Right.
So, we're just going to bump him. He's going to come back out. When we went down and turned around and parked, we're kind of at a fork, and off the other fork is another little bear. And so we're watching that thing. We're like, man, maybe we'll go have a quick look at this guy while we're waiting. So we get out and we track this bear for a little while. We follow him, which is kind of a cool tactic because if they like walking into the wind, so they know what they're kind of coming up at, right?
Right.
But then if you're behind them, you're downwind of them, which is perfect. And they don't really turn and look behind them all that much. They just keep walking. They munch a little here and there, and he's heading uphill. So we did that. We followed this guy. We were pretty sure he's going to be too small, but we followed him for a little while anyways. And sure enough, he was just a little bear. So we turn around, we start heading back down, and I made a joke like, oh, those other bears are probably sniffing at our truck right now. Right? And we come down and we come over this little rise to look down, like we're right over the truck, and we look, and those bears are not only at our truck, they're coming up the road toward us.
No way.
This big brown black bear and this Salad he was with. And we're like, oh crap. Like now we're kind of upwind of them. Now we're like, shoot, we're blowing this. And they could see us. And so behind us, maybe 30, 40 yards just off to the side is like a hill that's all grassy. Like it's all like thick bush beside us. And then it opens up on this one side to like a nice grassy hill. And he's like, if we can get back there and we can get up that hill and sit behind some brush, he's going to walk right past us on this road and we'll be elevated. Perfect. Right.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, we were able to sneak back. We go to climb up the hill, and I got my bow in my hand, and Mike has my rifle that he just brought as like a backup or as like plan B.
Yeah.
And so I look down, and as we're going up this grassy hill, it's really wet. And as I'm thinking, oh, I better be careful of my footing. I hear boom, and I look over, and Mike is laying on my rifle in the mud. He's looking back at the bears and didn't even look at his footing and fully wiped out. And so I look over, and the thing that comes to mind is, okay, well, now I can't rely on my gun.
Yeah, your gun's all messed up.
Scope, right? Like, crap, and it's covered in mud. Okay, things have changed a little.
Yeah, no backup, no plan B.
Like my buddy pro guide is on his face in the mud. But we get up the hill, I get positioned. We're in just a cloud of a million mosquitoes. Like the whole week we were up there was just hell. I'm sure you guys were spotting plenty of them sitting in tree stands.
It's like the country bird up there is the mosquito. There's so many mosquitoes up there.
It's funny, like probably in yours too, but all the footage is just like a little blur of bug.
Yep, all over. They're everywhere, in your face, in front of the camera, everywhere.
Yeah. So we were in that, standing there, and then so we get up there. Mike's got his phone out at least, and he's filming, and it's really difficult for a guide to also be the filmer.
Yeah,
because now he's got to watch the animal, he's got to watch me, he's got to assess the whole situation, and also so that phone, rightfully so, is like third or fourth thing on his mind. You know what I mean? That footage it's not his job,
right?
But he wants to, and he's filming, and that's awesome. But so the footage didn't end up fantastic because he's watching the situation. He's responsible for everything that's going on. So we're standing there waiting. I'm looking at him. I'm looking down from where I am. I can't really see way down the road. I'm just kind of like blocked, which is what you want because you're blocked from the animal. I'm like, where is he? Are they coming? Like, it was taking forever considering how fast it looked like they were moving. And then finally, he's coming. He's right there. So I wait until I can sort of see him. Sure enough, there he is. He's walking up. It's like, ooh, that is a real good bear. Like at 20 yards, he's a substantial animal. And so I drew back, and for the first time ever, I got actually kind of shaky. Like I don't know if it was, I think it was just the whole situation. Like, okay, we finally have an opportunity after a week. I'm last day +1. We have like sort of like you, or like we have like an hour and a half of light left. Like this is kind of like do or die.
Yeah.
And he's at 20 yards. Like these are big animals at 20 yards.
Yes,
like,
they are.
You know, from sitting in that tree stand. And so, boy, I drew back, and I was just like, oh crap. Like that's what that is. Like I never felt this before, but there was shakiness going on, which was really weird. But so I'm breathing, I'm telling myself, calm down, go through your sequence, calm down. And meanwhile, he's walking up, and he's just moving like perfect right to left. And I'm like, he's gonna give me the like quartering away shot. I'm like, just wait. Like get that away. Like he's gonna give you the perfect shot. Broadside is great, but that quartering away is even better.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, just wait. And then he's perfect broadside, and then he's moving a little. And so I go to, I shoot right-handed, but I'm left eye dominant. So I have to close my left eye. So I close my left eye and look and find my peep, and I'm having trouble like getting my scope into my peep, but I do. Okay, there we go. And then by the time I do that, now I'm looking at his face, and I'm like, what the hell? Why am I looking at his face? Why is he? I open my other eye. He's turned, and he's coming straight at me because he saw the grassy hillside that we were on, and he was like, that looks suspicious.
Yeah.
So he's turned, and he's walking straight at me, and now I'm like, this is freak. and so I'm like, hey, let off, like this is not. And then I see him, and you can sort of see in the video, he kind of looks, he stops, and sort of he can't really pick up. I don't know if he smelt us or what. Our wind was still kind of crossways, but something wasn't up. It wasn't right. There was something he didn't like, and he wasn't quite sure what it was. And I knew that he wasn't going to give me enough time when he turns. He's going to turn to leave. I'm not getting enough time to get a proper shot off with a bow. And sure enough, he's like not turned and kind of takes off the road. On the other side of the road is just a bank that drops down into the forest. And so he took off, crash through the bush. And let down. I look over at Mike, like, what the hell was that? It was perfect. And then as soon as I'm lined up, he's coming right at me. So we're just kind of standing there like, I can't believe it just happened. Like, what? Like, it was perfect. And then we're chilling. I don't know. Mike probably knew this was gonna happen because we're just like chilling. We're just standing there. We're not moving. We're not doing anything. And sure enough, just up the road, bear pops back up onto the road because he doesn't want to be in the bush. He wants to be up on this. And he never really busted us. He just knew something about this hillside he didn't like.
So it was the same bear that was coming at you. That same bear went down and then just came right back up onto the road.
Yeah. He took off because he's like, I don't like something about this. Went down into the brush. It's thick.
Yeah.
And gross. Like it's not great travel, and bears are lazy. So he just kind of went like, I don't know, 20 yards up the road and then popped right back up.
Wow.
And the sow too, actually.
Wow.
So we were like,
oh yeah, sow too.
Okay. So we so we're like, all right, let's go. So we start pulling them, and now we're perfect, right? Like wind's in our face. He's walking away from us, and we're following him. At this point, we're probably, I think I might have ranged him. We're 100 and something, 120, something like that behind him by the time we kind of slid down the slope back to the road. And the sow is there. And so that was the major problem, was he's got this sow who's not nearly as casual as him. She's kind of fleety and being weird and following. And when we were watching him the first time, he kind of wandered off the road into the bush, and she took off with him for like, I don't know, a minute and a half, and then they came back out. So we think maybe he's got the job done. He's probably bred her at this point, which is great. he's no
good for him.
Interested in her. He's just walking, and she's just kind of following along. Somehow we ended up getting between him and the sow. I don't know if she bumped off the road and we kind of carried on, and she came out, which is good because then he's not spooking, or she's not spooking him.
Right.
And then it was just like a stalk, and we just crept in. I put my bow down, and he gave me the rifle, and I was like, dude, are you sure? And he's like, well, when I fell, I cradled it. I made sure I knew it. Like, I didn't bump the scope. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Like, all right. We checked the barrel. It's not full of mud. And yeah, just, we followed him farther up this road. Like, when you're stalking something, you don't really realize like how far you're moving.
You go a long ways in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Like we must have gone a kilometer and a half, like probably about a mile, kind of just following up this road, trying to get a little closer. You're trying not to make too much noise, but move faster than he is. And then luckily enough, there was another kind of wide spot on the other side of the road that just had a bunch of vegetation in it, and he just decided he's going to kind of hang out in there for a bit. So we were able to get into I think it was about 75. I ended up ranging it afterwards just out of curiosity. So we're 75 from him, and Mike's like, get him in both front shoulders, like get him down, because if he goes away from the road toward that bush again, it's like steep downhill, thick, just hell. It would have been bad. And thinking back to it, if I had actually got him with an arrow, that's right where he would have gone. It would have been a hell of a night, like getting that thing out of there. So kind of luckily, it didn't work out that way. But yeah, we crept into 75. I laid down prone. I was kind of just waiting for an opportunity. He was milling about behind a big bush, and then he kind of came out a little bit. I could see head, shoulder, a little bit of his back. I could tell where the shoulder was. Because I was down prone, there was some stuff in the way. Like from Mike's angle in the video, you can clearly see the bear. And I'm sure he was like, what are you waiting for? There he is. But where I was, I guess that's probably a good excuse for like a bipod or something like that. Like I was just like old school prone on my elbows.
Oh, wow.
Just holding the thing like World War II style. Because we didn't bring our packs. Like we're, 100 yards from the truck. So yeah, just put the crosshairs right on his shoulder, and I ended up going through his like upper arm between the elbow and the shoulder. And then it was a 150 grain Remington core lock, and it actually separated once it went through that bone. I found the casing, I found like the
the copper,
The copper,
what's it
yeah,
called?
the outside of the
Yeah,
bullet
yeah.
was in the ribs, and then the core must have ended in the gut pile, I guess, because it wasn't on the other side. But
Wow.
just he leaked out big time inside of there, like it was perfect. So I hit him. He goes down into the ditch,
Mm-hmm.
turns around, and kind of goes back up to right to where he was, and then just laid down. And then the freaking sow is like, what the heck? What's going on? She was being all sketchy. We like wandered up there real slow and careful and everything, and he ended up being, yeah, it was real quick, real fast, which was great. I felt very fortunate and relieved about that.
Yeah.
And then yeah, made sure, okay, sweet. And then she's milling about. She's just like real curious. And so Mike's like, let's go to the truck, bring the truck up here. She'll come over, figure out what's up, and then she'll just leave. And that's exactly what happened, which is
Wow.
awesome. And yeah, and he was like literally right there, like he's right off the road, which is ideal. And
That's amazing.
good sized bear. I think he was bigger than the one I got last year, just based on the meat that I got off of him and the paws. I kind of put that paw picture side by side.
Yeah.
I got the same one last year. That's kind of like, I think it's going to kind of be my thing now. Like that's what I send to my wife. The first bear, I just text her a picture of the paw, of me holding the paw. And so I tried to do the same thing for this one too.
Nice.
But I compared those two, and this guy's paws were definitely a little bigger. We never ended up measuring them to find out, I guess, because Mike and I talked about that quite a bit. And we both kind of felt like, there's a lot of like competition,
Mm-hmm.
of course, in hunting, and is yours bigger than mine? And he sees that a lot with clients. Like,
Yeah.
like, hey, is that bear bigger than the one? Is that bigger than the one that my buddy got? I want a bigger one than his, that kind of thing. And
So
he's
stupid.
just kind of like, man, that's kind of really disrespectful, I guess, to the animal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you're kind of judging them that way, I guess. And so yeah, we never ended up putting a tape measure on them, which was totally fine. And
Yeah.
yeah, I brought him home. It's like we got him out of there in the dark, and then because that's how late it was. And then like the next morning, I'm supposed to be back in Prince to pick up those pigs at before 10 because they had something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next morning we start breaking this thing down, and I'm texting them like, yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna make it. I ended up having to drive back up the following day after I got home and unloaded. And even then, like, broke down the thing, just quartered and skinned, and Mike caped him out and all this stuff, got him in the truck and coolers and whatever. And I got home in time to unload him into the freezer, or unload, his the hide and the skull into the freezer, spread out the meat in my shop where it's kind of cool and there's no flies, take the weapons out of my truck, take off all my bloody clothes and change, and get back in the truck and take my kid to baseball.
Oh my god. Did you cut it all? Did you do all the meat processing yourself?
I did, yeah, which was awesome. That was another thing. Like Mike was like, on my first bear, I don't know if it was the moment or just being timid or not knowing at all what to do, but I really didn't even pull out a knife like to actually break him to not to break. I broke the meat back at the lodge, but to open him up and gut him and skin him and stuff like that, I didn't do any of that, which I kind of regretted. But the guys that I was with, I think they were fully understood, and they get that a lot with clients. Like, it's just kind of, I'll see you in the truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, with this one, I was just like, man, just point and tell me what to do. Like, I got to learn this sort of thing, right? And so yeah, it's exactly what he was just like, there, boom, boom, boom. I don't think Mike even pulled out a knife for the and putting him in the truck. And then when it came to like skinning him out and stuff, like Mike did the skull. He's a taxidermist. He's like a educated. He went to school for taxidermy and stuff, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So he did all of that, and but no, yeah, it was cool, like learning how to skin him out properly, and then breaking down all the meat and everything, and yeah, and then when I brought it home, then of course I got it all chopped into. We just do like roasts. We do like she's got a great beef dip recipe that she does with the bear, to do bear bear dip roasts, and then everything else just goes to pepperoni. We got this awesome guy in town that does great pepperoni. So
Nice.
yeah,
I did
a lot of work, but
I did
totally
breakfast
worth it.
sausage with mine. I was surprised, and I don't know about you, but I was surprised at how little meat I got off of that bear. Like I mean, mine wasn't huge, but he was still a good sized bear. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have so much meat off this thing. I feel like I got more fat than I did meat off that thing. I was blown away how little of meat I actually ended up being able to pull off of him.
Oh, interesting. Because sometime like he must have been a really healthy bear then, because they usually come out, unless they're really well off, they don't come out of their den typically with a lot of fat left on them. That's kind of what they live off of
Yeah.
all winter, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, this
he had quite a bit on him. Like in fact, I froze several bags of just fat so that I can render it down and actually use it for cooking and whatnot.
nice.
I mean, I still got, yeah, like I said, I turned it all into breakfast sausage. I did do some into like some steaks just because I wanted to try them and try some different things. But the rest of it just went into breakfast sausage. And I need to weigh it out and see how much I got off of him. But yeah, I was blown away. I'm like, I expected to have probably triple the meat that I got off of him than what I actually got, because it was all fat.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean that's what I was looking for, was like a good healthy big meat bear.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's tricky because they cross that line pretty quick where they start getting like really wormy. Even just, it doesn't matter what they're eating, just those old animals, they just
Yeah.
end up getting parasitic and stuff, and they get some wormy stuff in them. But yeah, it's they're, for the size of the animal that they are, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a lot of body, right? Like,
Yeah.
and all you're getting is the legs and the back straps, really,
Mm-hmm.
and the tenderloins. But yeah, when you look at a bear, it's all body.
Yeah.
And those got those stubby little legs, right?
Yeah. And fur. There's a
Compared to like,
ton of fur on them
yeah,
too.
and even like, I don't know, did you like trim out the ribs and everything too? You end up taking?
No, we just took the legs, the back straps, and the tenderloins. That's all I ended up taking off of him, which actually surprised them.
Yeah.
They're not used to that. They're like not many people take the meat. I'm like, that's really that's what I want more than anything is the meat. The hide's cool, but I want the meat off this thing.
Yeah, no, you're not the norm out here too. Like everyone up here looking for that beautiful rug and a big skull and stuff. But
Man.
so that ends up, I mean, these guys, they bring everything out anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the law to take out anything from a
Oh.
bear. You have to bring out most of what's edible anyways
Mm-hmm.
on them. And there's rules about stuff you can't bring out from them too. But so they end up with a lot of meat too. Just the guys just leave it because, again, they just want that rug
Yeah.
and the
Too
skull.
bad.
So yeah, they either keep some of it, but they get pretty sick of bear meat pretty fast.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
then they donate tons of it to the local nation. Actually, they donate
Oh, that's cool.
up at Alpha Dog. They donate lots of meat and a lot of like the moose hides and stuff, because like hunters come up, they don't care about taking a moose hide home or anything, so they end up donating that to the locals. And they do like a really cool ceremonial stuff with it, or they'll take one into the school and they'll go and show all the kids in school, like, here's how you flesh out an animal, and salting and tanning and all that sort of stuff. So it's really cool that it certainly never goes to waste. Like, they don't leave anything out there, which is great.
That's amazing.
And I mean, yeah, Mike was saying, like, if you want them out the ribs, like, absolutely go ahead. But that meat dry, like, it's so thin.
Yeah.
It dries so fast. And he's like, if you want beef jerky, or if you want bear jerky, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
But he's like, some other animal's gonna clean this up, don't you worry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure.
It definitely doesn't go to waste.
Man, that's crazy. I gotta ask though, like, because I was up in a tree stand, obviously hunting my bear, and I kind of felt like a little bit more secure being up in the tree stand, even though they tried to climb up and say hello to me a couple times. But like, did it make you nervous, like being on the ground with them only being 20 yards away? Does that make you nervous at all?
Not consciously. Like, maybe that was part of sort of the shakiness that I was experiencing. Just like, that's a real big animal and he's right there.
Yeah.
I've had lots of experience being around bears, like even living in Whistler, there's so many that are just kind of like domesticated almost, just hang around because they know people means food. And so you kind of get used just being around them a bunch. And I mean, I never thought like this thing's coming at me, because I've never had a bear even act aggressive around. I've never been bluff charged, anything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it never really entered my mind like this thing's gonna come up the hill toward me kind of thing. Like everything I know about black bears is they want nothing to do
Right.
with humans
Right.
or anything that smells like humans. And plus Mike's beside me with the
I
rifle,
guess
and
that's
so there's
true.
that. Which, you know, if you're gonna go bear hunting for predators, definitely have some backup. Um, did I say if you're going bow hunting?
Bow hunting
I don't
for
know if I said
predators.
bear.
Yeah, bow hunting for predators. You
Yeah,
want that backup. Yeah, and that's what everybody like when we were headed up to Canada. Everybody was like, "Hey, are you gonna? What kind of gun are you gonna take for protection? Like, what kind of handgun are you gonna take with you when you go up there?" And it's like, well, can't do that. So I'm taking a bow. That's all I'm taking: a bow and a knife.
yeah. That's even Mike was laughing because he kept getting these text messages from the next clients that were coming up, and 3 times he had to tell him, no, you can't bring pistols. Like, sorry, you're gonna get turned around at the border. It's not happening.
It was the first
Don't try and
question.
bring them.
That was the first question those border patrol guys asked us. They're like, "What do you have any pistols in your vehicle?" And we're like, "No, no. We already knew and we're well aware that we cannot bring a pistol with us." So like, yeah, they take that very serious. You cannot bring a pistol into Canada.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big one, and it's unfortunate because if bow hunting, like it'd be really nice to just have some little bit of extra security right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was out late season 2 years ago, I think, just wandering around the bush with my bow and just looking for deer, and just heard this weird noise, and I was on the other side of this little sparse little bit of trees. There was a road, and I saw this freaking giant black thing running like a
Uh-huh.
dog does.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not sweet. And then there was another one behind him that was like a
Oh,
lighter color, and I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be bad.
yeah.
And then they popped out into the clearing, and luckily it was just like dogs, like a husky and this big old black thing, and then they had their little buddy with them.
Oh my
And I was
gosh.
like, okay, well, they're not wolves. Hopefully they're friendly dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them stopped. You could tell you could tell he smelled something, and then he kind of just like looked around like, what is this? And he spots me, and his face was just like, oh, hey. And he comes trotting over. And they turned out to be like the friendliest dogs in the world. They were just like, there's kind of a property sort of near me where
Mm-hmm.
someone lives, I guess. And they were just out for their little run. And so they
Oh
ended up
man.
being like my best buddies. And I was like,
But
well, you got deer hunt done around here.
dude, but that could have been a completely different situation though, man. If they were aggressive and you had nothing to protect you with, like you're screwed, man.
Yeah, I mean, I bring bear spray on me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's something for sure, like against just regular canines. But
Yeah.
wolves, I don't know if it works against wolves. I don't know if it really works against bears. I mean, you got to hope you're not downwind to where you're spraying. Like,
Right. Yeah, the way it
I'd
doesn't come
much
back into
rather be
you.
able to pack like a proper firearm
Well, that's like we're headed
and have.
to Alaska in September, and man, that 10 millimeter is going to be with me everywhere I go because, especially with grizzlies, and you guys had grizzlies where you were at, like with grizzlies around, man, I got to have a gun close by to feel super comfortable because yeah, you can get in a bad situation in a hurry.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think that 10 millimeter is a good choice. Yeah, Mike's got some crazy stories about being treed by grizzly bears, and I didn't know grizzlies can't climb trees.
No, they're too
So there's
heavy.
that.
Yeah, they're too fat, so they can't. In fact, I saw a video one time of a grizzly trying to climb a tree, and it like broke off the tree. It was not very high up on the tree, like probably 4 feet up off the ground, and it literally snapped the tree in half because of how heavy it was.
Wow, it's cool. Like I got to learn about like their like the rubs.
Mm-hmm.
Bears have rubs that they do on trees, same as deer and elk and stuff do. And so I was learning the difference between the black bear tree and a grizzly tree, and we could
Oh
be
wow.
on both. And so that was really cool. And but yeah, they're very, very different animals. Like just
Was
calling
that
them both bears is almost incorrect. They're very different.
was that rub? Is that like I saw on your video? There was like one that had like clawed the tree. Is that what you're saying? Like a rub, like that on the tree?
That was just like a big scratch. Like they just kind of, I don't know. They're kind of like a cat that way. They like to just
Oh,
fuck stuff up.
just to like sharpen the
The
claws, kind of a thing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's who knows.
Hmm.
Bears sometimes do really funny things,
Yeah, they
but yeah,
do.
you'll find those big claw marks. Grizzlies they'll pick like a bigger tree, some type of a big fir tree, like a spruce or fir or whatever, some sort
Hmm.
of big conifer, and they'll break off a bunch of the lower branches, and then they'll like rub themselves all over it.
Oh,
You'll find
weird.
little tufts of grizzly fur on these trees, and it's really cool is they always stand in the exact same spot. Even when you're walking up, you'll see like clearly marked out like footprints, and they walk in the exact same paw print up to the tree, stand in the exact same spot. It's bizarre.
That
And
is
then they'll
weird.
rub all over this tree. And they break off all the lower branches because they get in their way, and then they'll rub themselves all over this tree and wander off. But the black bear, they'll pick a much smaller tree, usually still like a conifer, like a spruce or a fir or pine or whatever.
Hmm.
And they'll pick a smaller one that's, I don't know, 12 feet tall or something like that. And they'll sort of do the same thing. They'll rub on it, but then they'll reach up and grab above over their head and pull and snap the top off, and then kind of just like rub on that. And then you'll
Jeez.
find like all the way up a road, there will be like a tree that looks like that with that broken off all the way up this road. There will be like, for miles. Like they'll go like 4 or 5 kilometers down a road just doing them. They'll just work that road back and forth, and the sows will smell that, and that's kind of like their rut zone.
Hmm.
Um, and then what's cool about that though is you can look at the top of that tree where it's been snapped off, and if it's all brown and dry, it's obviously an old one. But if it's still like really fresh and really green, then you know that guy's around.
Still around.
He's working that zone, so you can use
Man.
that to your advantage.
That's interesting. I think that was one of my favorite things about doing it, because bear hunting, well, we talked about it last time. Like, it was so foreign to me, never done it before. And like it was so interesting learning like some of their behaviors. Like you were saying, bears are they're kind of weird in some of the stuff that they do, and just in their behavior. And that was probably one of my favorite things about my hunt, was just sitting in that tree stand, watching the bears come in, how they interact with each other, how they interact with their environment. Like, they are weirdos, man. They do some weird stuff.
Oh yeah, they're so curious, like crawling
Hmm.
up the tree towards you and stuff.
Yeah.
You had to like boot them in the nose to get them away.
Dude, I
Yeah,
was.
like even just watching them, like there were a bunch of bears that we were like clearly a sow or
Hmm.
obviously too small. Which is one thing that's really fun to do, is like practice sizing
Yeah.
bears as well, like judging bears in the field. Being beside Mike was cool because I could be asking him like, "Hey, how do you know that's a sow? Like, what are you looking at?" Because there's, I've done a ton of research on this and watched a
Hmm.
bunch of videos and whatever, and so like, you sort of think but yeah, getting out there and getting to practice that. But yeah, there's tons of times when we would see a bear that we were for sure weren't shooting. You just kind of watch them and just
Yeah.
see what they're doing, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah. I kind of figured that out quicker than I thought I would. Sitting there watching them, like I was so nervous. Like, oh, am I going to be able to tell what's a sow and what's a boar? And it probably took 2 days of just watching a ton of bears come in and out and whatnot. But after those couple of days, I was like, oh yeah. As soon as it came in, I could tell that it was a sow, just in its behavior and its body structure, the way that it was shaped and whatnot. And then as soon as a boar came in, I was like, oh yep, that's a boar. That's what was really crazy is I had that mom and that cub that kept coming into the stand, and I'd heard about boars like trying to kill the cub so that they could either put the sow into heat or just mate the sow if they're at that point. And I never, like, obviously never seen it, but I kind of got to witness that with the bear that I ended up shooting, that blonde bear. I got to watch him do that quite a bit with the sow and cub. He kept trying to sneak in, and at first I thought he was just kind of messing with him. I thought he was just trying to like kind of take ownership of the bait, or even just messing with him, because he's not, like I said, he wasn't like this super old bear. So I thought, well, maybe he's just an idiot kind of a thing. But then I could tell like he would kind of sneak around the trees and try to get behind that little cub, and the mom would like make like this,
Wow.
like, I can't even explain it. It almost sounded like a bike engine, like ding 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 ding. Like, it was the weirdest sound that the sow would make, and it would kind of drive that boar back a little bit, and then she would chase him off. But anytime he could, he'd try to sneak around and get behind that little cub, and I'm guessing that's what he was trying to do, was try to catch that cub, kill it, and mate the sow.
Wow, that's such a cool experience. You got to watch that.
Yeah.
That's Super neat.
with the bear that I ended up actually taking. So it was crazy.
Yeah, that's wild that you saw him like what second day or something
Hmm.
like that, and you're like, oh man, we only just got here,
Yeah.
and then yeah, that ends up being the same one that came back. That's
Oh,
fantastic.
that's the thing is I could have shot him the very first day that we were out there. I could have shot him, and but like I said, he wasn't the biggest, and so I was kind of waiting. Like I was like, I'm gonna wait for that jumbo, kind of like what you had saw. You know, like I was like, I'm gonna see if I can get one of those really big ones. I didn't realize they had worms though. That was something I did not know. But I was thinking I'm gonna get the biggest bear I can so I can get the most meat. You know, that's the way that I approached it. And so I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna shoot him because he's not the biggest bear. He's the coolest color bear in the world. And I kept kicking myself every day for passing up on a blonde bear. Not every day. I only saw him I think three out of the 7 days that I was there. But every time I pass him up, I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. I should not pass up a blonde boar. Like he's such a cool animal. But I was like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see if I can get that jumbo. And then come like the 5th day or so, I was like, all right. As soon as he comes out, I'm gonna smoke him because he's blonde. Of course, I didn't see him on the 5th day. Of course, I didn't see him on the 6th day. You know, it wasn't until the very last light of the 7th day that I finally got to see him again. But yeah, it was crazy watching him interact with that mom and that cub. And I know this sounds kind of weird, but I almost wanted to see if he could do that. You know, like you know what happens all the time, and if it happens, I guess it happens. But I wanted to see if he was actually going to be able to do that and what the mom would do. And it was really interesting to watch those interactions. Like I said, that was one of the funnest parts of the hunt was just watching bears because it was so new to me.
Yeah, they're super cool animals, and they're curious and they're funny, and they're almost like just a big dog out there, just kind of roaming around looking for stuff to eat, and playful. And yeah,
Hmm.
they're goofy. The cubs, man, we saw so many cubs, which was great.
Yeah.
And there was one that was like, he was tiny, like
Mm.
he stood up in some tall grass on the side of the road, and his like tiny little pointy ears, like he just had like little fox ears like
Yeah.
pointing, and we were just like, oh man, that
Oh.
thing's brand new, dude. Like yeah,
So
they're super
cute.
cool. But man, like other times we'd see a sow on the side of the road, and we're watching and watching, and we're like, hey, sow, like we don't want to take a sow, good sized sow, but
Yeah.
let's carry on. Drive by, she kind of bumps off the road a little bit, and then we're watching, and we stop, and then beside us in this tree are 2 cubs. Like
Oh.
like she's just out feeding and left
Yeah.
them back there, probably in the tree. And it's like, man, she's gonna get herself shot because
Yep.
like we wouldn't have seen those cubs.
Hmm.
And that's bad. And like you really, really got to make sure that because I mean you don't typically want to take sows anyways if you can help
Right.
it. But
But it's
yeah, I
legal.
think it's actually illegal to take a like same with cats. Like you can't take a cat that's with another cat because it's
Right.
probably a kid.
Yeah, I ended up looking
But
that
yeah,
that rule up. I saw that. Yeah, it is illegal to take. They call them wet and dry. It's illegal to take a wet sow, but it is legal to take a dry sow if she doesn't have a cub. You can take him. So, like you're saying, if you saw her and you didn't see her you didn't see the cubs there. Yeah, you could smoke her and then not realize that you're not just killing one bear. You're killing 3 bears actually.
that's right. Yeah, and I mean there would have been. I mean, how do you explain that to someone? Like there was no way you like. How do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they're
It.
unless they're out in a field in a cut block or something like that, and
Mhm.
there's definitely no other animal anywhere near them. Then yeah,
Yeah.
you got to be real sure if you want to be taking sows.
That was definitely the advantage of the tree stand too, is because like you always had plenty of time. You know, like a bear would come in, and I could let that bear sit there for a little bit if I wasn't sure to be able to see if any other cub, like a cub, came wandering in after her or anything like that. So that was definitely the advantage of the tree stand is I had plenty of time to kind of assess the bear, the situation before I ended up actually pulling the trigger. So, but for you though, yeah, where you're just cruising those roads, you see a big bear off the side of the road because some of those sows are huge. You know, like there's some of those sows that are 350 pounds. It'd be hard to pass that up.
I mean, especially when you're trying to judge them from 150, 200
Yeah,
yards,
yeah.
and yeah, it can be tricky. I mean, that's another advantage with having a barrel. There is, I know that they
Hmm.
use those rings on the barrels to help size your bears to judge them. Yeah, it can be tough. Like if there's nothing else around, I
Hmm.
find I went with the ears a lot. If the ears look big on that bear, he's probably a small bear.
Yep.
If they look tiny and off to the side, but Mike kept saying like we see so many bears, and no, sow, young, sow young, whatever. And I'm just looking at him like, man, how can you tell? Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess like the body shape's a little bit different. You can tell it's obviously a female. It's sometimes you can tell from the bridge of the nose, the
Mm-hmm.
angle that's at, if it's like ends in like in a broad forehead or if it just slopes right. Um, but then Mike kept saying like, when you see a good size boar, there's no question, and then
Yep.
that's what you're out there looking for.
Yep.
And then sure enough, when you spot that, and it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yep, that's a bear. Then that's yeah. When you don't want to be thinking, is it, isn't it? You want it to
Right.
be like, yeah, no, that's 100%.
Yeah, there's no question. That's a good thing about it is once that guy walks in, you're like, okay, yeah, that's my bear. That's what that's what I'm here for, kind of a thing. So yeah, for sure. Are you gonna go back with Alpha Dog? Is this gonna be like an annual thing for you?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, it's super fun. Like I say, just hanging around up there with those guys. Yeah, I've got we were brainstorming all kinds of stuff in the truck, like like funny things to do for social media and
Yeah,
videos, promo stuff to do with them. And so I said, man, let me know when you got time. I'll come up. We'll film some stuff. We'll hang out. We'll build cabins, whatever. And
yeah.
then I definitely want to go back in the fall and that's where all the elk and the big moose live. So
Mm,
even if I got to go solo, if they're busy, that's where I want to be. So I'll
nice,
hang out at camp and chat with all the tourist hunters that are up there hunting with them. And
nice.
yeah, just go be amongst that. I, I, I find that they cultivate a very low bullshit environment,
Mm-hmm.
which I really like.
Yeah.
Just just out there. So yeah, just being around that is good times. So
Oh man, it's
yeah,
so
that's fun
fun.
to.
That's why I said, like, after like talking to you last time and then like watching your hunts and what you're doing, like, and I think it was actually Chad that said it even more than I did. He's like, dude, we've got to go up with Mike and go to Alpha Dog. Like we got to make that part of our, so we did rebook with the same place we went with. So we're actually going to go back with these guys, not next year, but the year after. But as soon as we can, we want to come up there. One, just to hang out with you. I mean, I think it's just gonna be fun to be able to come up and hang out with you and just see that part of the country and get to know you better. But yeah, to go up there and hunt bears with those guys, it sounds like a freaking blast.
Yeah, I mean, spring bear is just so fun and casual and stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, you take your time, you get to go cruise some roads, see if you can find some grizzlies to look at, which is fun. And
Yeah.
like everything else, like, man, we came across some sandhill cranes. We found some like, oh, everything up there in the spring has got young too, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like we watched some baby grouse run across the road
Is that
and
what that
came
was?
across some,
I saw that video and I
yeah, the
couldn't figure out what
tiny
it
little
was.
baby grouse.
That's so
Yeah, super.
cool.
Oh, they're so neat. Like, and even I never filmed any of it, but we got this little bird called killdeer. I don't know if you got killdeers down there, but
I
they're
don't
these
know.
weird little bird that hangs around water holes, and they're babies. They do the same thing as like deer do. They crouch down and just try to hide in the grass,
Huh.
but they're in the middle of the road. And so we stopped and we hop out and we're trying to like find these birds just to get them off the road so we don't run them over, right?
Right.
And and it was really cool. The adults do this thing where they run ahead on the road and then like put a wing out and act like all hurt and stuff. And then they'll look back at you and then they'll run down the road and then they just act injured so that you'll go after them
Mm-hmm.
and they're drawing you away from the babies, right?
Oh
And then
wow.
eventually they just take off and loop back around and go back. But we're watching that happen, even in front of the truck. They're like running down in front of the truck acting all injured and stuff. Like it was
That's
super cool just
so
to
cool.
watch that. So all that kind of stuff that you get to
Mm-hmm.
do and see when you're out just cruising logging roads, and nobody else up there, I guess, hunts bears except for clients of hunters.
Oh
And
wow.
when you're in a tenure, when they have their guide zone,
Mm-hmm.
nobody else can guide in there. But none of the locals, I guess, really hunt bears. So
Oh,
you're out there by yourself in this
cool.
giant area with all these roads, and the logging's so huge up there. There's
Mm-hmm.
roads that go everywhere,
Yeah.
and it's just all wide open and have that there. So yeah, you cover a ton of ground, and it's basically in a moving blind. So you're just
Yeah.
sitting in the truck together the whole time, and you can get out and do some hikes around and stuff like that, but they're not really that productive as because
Right.
bears are on the road anyway, like
And it's too thick
getting out and
anyway. You don't
walking
want to go
around.
hiking in the thick trees anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, it's heavy there. So yeah, you definitely don't want to be chasing We did that last year when I shot that bear with a bow, and he
Oh
went
yeah.
up that hill like a mile. It was
Oh,
brutal, thick grossness.
miserable.
But yeah, man, you guys come on up and um, shoot, come by here, and I'll teach you guys how to make your own knife, and when you can make your own knife, and then we'll pack up and we'll head up to Alpha Dog, and maybe by then I'll have my assistant hunting license, and we can go out and hunt together.
Dude,
It'll be super fun.
that would
It'll
be
be
so
something
fun.
man.
That would make for an epic video too, of being able to come up there, make a knife with you, go hunting bear. Like how sweet would that be? Like that's where like we just gotta make it happen and do it, because that would be an
Oh yeah.
experience of a lifetime.
Yeah, actually that'd be cool. Take a knife from like raw steel to actually using it on a bear
Yeah.
like a few days later or whatever.
Oh, dude,
That'd be
so
awesome.
cool.
That'd be fun.
That'd be so cool. Well, shoot,
And
man.
then we can cook a piece, like, because everyone's all got that stigma about eating bear. So then we'll take it right to like, yeah, right field to plate.
That's right. From still to killing to harvesting to putting on the plate and eating. That'd be such a cool video, man. I like, and just again, just to see that part of the country too. Like I kind of fell in love a little bit with Canada and what it is, and yeah, just to be able to see the western side of the country as well, and experience a different province, and the culture there, I'm sure, is probably different than Saskatchewan, and just learn it all. So yeah, that's what we were talking. Well, man, I don't even know, maybe two or 3 years down the road, making it happen.
Yeah, and you can't let Saskatchewan be the only place in Canada that you visit. I've been everywhere, almost everywhere, but the outsides, the coasts are where you want.
Yeah.
Sorry to the middle of Canada, but yeah, the mountains and the coastlines are they're the picturesque, I guess.
Yeah, the U.S. is the same way though. You know, like out here in the West, it's mountainous, it's beautiful. You get into like Kansas, Missouri, it's just farmland. It's just flat and ugly.
Yeah. The northern part, like when we were, I really liked, like, I mean, like Idaho was super cool. Northern Idaho and Montana and Wyoming, of course, like all that stuff. So like, man, and even just driving, you're looking across at these forests, and it's just like, that's why these guys shoot 600 yards at elk. Like, it's wide open, you can see so far.
Yeah,
It's
you
awesome.
get up on a hilltop, you can see forever and shoot as far as you want to shoot.
Yeah, I can see where those PRCs come in handy up there. We're still shooting 30-06 around here.
Hey, the good old 30-30, man. The lever action 30-30 is a sweet gun. I've got 2 of them right there, so they're awesome guns, man.
Yeah, I love it. That's perfect.
Well, shoot, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on with me. I've been like, ever since I saw that post when you told me that you're going bear hunting, I was like, oh man, I don't know what it is, but I love bear hunting now. Like, and I talked to Joe. Remember, I did that podcast. I think it was right after you and I did the last one. And he's like, dude, once you go bear hunting, like, you're going to be stuck. Like, you're going to be doing it every year. And I kind of was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Whatever kind of a thing. And now I'm like, yeah, dude, I got to be bear hunting like every year, because this is too much fun.
It is, like, there's a lot of opportunity, which is nice. You're not out for 2 weeks and don't see an animal kind of thing. It's not one of those kinds of hunts. It's like, it's casual. You can just drive around for an afternoon and evening. The shittiest part is in the spring, you're out till last light, so you're not back in camp until 10:30, 11, and then you're eating late dinner and getting to bed at midnight. But you don't have to be up the next morning until 10 o'clock or something. Right. So yeah, it's chill, it's fun, it's hanging out with buddies, and target rich environments, and watching cool animals just doing their thing. It's awesome. I mean, even if you don't come home with a bear, like, I'm pumped that you guys both got one. That's fantastic. But man, even if like one of you did and the other one, I bet if you hadn't got yours, it would have been like, sweet, man.
Oh yeah,
he got one. I get to come and help him out. Like, everybody's pumped. I got to watch a bunch.
Yep.
It's not the end of the world.
That's what I kept telling myself. Like, honestly, like, if I go home without a bear, like, this still was such an adventure. And that's what life's about. That's why we go on those hunts. Yes, the meat is amazing, and the trophy, or whatever you want to call it, is amazing, but the adventure, the people that you get to meet, just the things that you get to do, like, that's why we do it. That's why we live this life, honestly. Like, it's so much fun.
Especially now that you're traveling to do it. You're leaving the country and going elsewhere. And man, New Zealand looks really fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be a cool spot to go and try sometime. And
That needs to
yeah,
be on your
man,
bucket list, Mike. You got to go to New Zealand at some point. That's got to be on your bucket list.
oh, absolutely. And it's not even that expensive.
No.
Like to go and do it. It's fully accessible.
That's what I always thought. Like, I'm going to have to spend, $30,000 to go do a hunt in New Zealand. And we did a hunt, got a great stag, took my wife. We did a lot of touring, and yeah, we were well under $10,000. Like, it was a cheap trip in comparison to what I thought it was going to be anyways.
Yeah. I was talking to another guy up here that runs a great big cannery around Kamloops, and he said this. He had just got back, and he got a couple of cool photos of one of my knives with, I can't remember even what the animal was that they took, like a tar or something like that, like some weirdo, like something you'd think you'd only see in Africa.
Yeah.
He got a couple of cool ungulates down there that we up here, and he's like, man, it's like $5,000 all in, like tagged flights, accommodation, food, everything. If you're just going for the hunt, you don't need a guide. You can just go and hunt, and you're doing them a favor, because those things, like, they got to get rid of them. They shoot them out of helicopters, just for a call kind of thing. So he's like, it's not that hard as long as you can understand what the hell they're saying.
Right. that's the issue, is trying to figure out what the Kiwis are saying, because that's the hardest part of the whole trip. Oh, shoot, man. Well, I'll let you back to your day. Dude, I appreciate you. Congratulations on the bear, man. I'm proud of you.
Oh, same to you, man.
That's awesome.
I hope that it didn't ruin bear hunting for you. Like, you're going to be out there looking for, I got to get a bigger, brighter color.
No, dude, that's just me, dude. I don't even care. I don't care what size the skull is. I don't care what color it is. I'm there for the adventure and having fun and seeing what you did too. Like, well, when I first saw the video and saw you took it with a gun, I was like, how cool is that? Like, you've got one with a bow now, you've got one with a gun now. Like, you're getting all this experience of getting into hunting and doing this. Like, man, it's so dang cool, and it's so fun, and I love every bit of it.
Yeah, it's endless. There's so much to do, and we get so many cool animals in North America to go and chase. It's awesome.
Yeah, we're kind of spoiled.
What more beautiful place to do it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there is a more beautiful place. I think BC is a little bit more beautiful than Saskatchewan, but we'll make that happen eventually.
You're always welcome, man. Come on up. Tell Chad too.
Okay, yeah, dude, I'm dead serious. And I think one thing I've learned about Chad, my buddy Chad, is if we talk about it, if we speak it into existence, it definitely happens. So, yeah, it won't be too far down the road, and we're gonna be up there with you, and we're gonna have a blast.
Cool, man. I'll save a couple for you.
Okay, yeah, time to a tree for us. Okay, man. Well, we'll stay in touch. We'll message back and forth, and I'll get this podcast out here pretty quickly so that it's out there. But appreciate you sharing the story with my listeners. I know that they love this stuff. They loved our last podcast and your bear story on the last podcast. So I'm pretty sure they're looking forward to this one.
Oh, cool. I hope it was well received, and hopefully they like this, and I appreciate the chance to get it out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pumped to get it all off my chest and get it as a journal entry for you too. I'll save the podcast for myself.
Yeah, for sure. And any hunts, man, when you get hunting this fall, let's keep in touch and let me know what you're doing this fall. And if you have some cool experiences, let's hop back on and let's keep this going.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, brother. I'll let you go and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks, Darren.
See you, buddy.